That is your only job. Who would think that confidence is a critical aspect of performance? So if I said that football player, that netball player, that tennis player, that swimmer has a high degree of confidence, would you think that that was a desirable quality you'd want for your child? Okay. My wife Helen's a psychologist and a former elite athlete. She won 2 medals here in the 1990 Commonwealth Games and for Australia in butterfly and breaststroke. And Helen and I talk about this a lot, and we thought, how can we communicate with parents the importance of their role in creating this quality of confidence that we all believe is so critically important to help children be the best that they can be. And the equation that we play with is this one, where confidence, you're seeing the best side of my head by the way, equals belief times evidence. Confidence is belief times evidence. Evidence is what we do as coaches and what the athletes do as athletes. You've got to try and remember or try and visualise that confidence is like a can. All right? I can, we can, they can, she can, they can. Confidence comes in cans. So you've been through this with your kids, no doubt. They're going out, they're going to play rugby for the school for the first time, they're going to play rep netball, they're going to go and line up All Auckland Championships or NZ Champs in some sport. And you know they're going to have the two voices that are saying, I can and I can't. I can and I can't. And we say success comes in cans, but confidence comes in cans. I can, I can, I can. And we've all got these two voices. So I'm staying here at a place called the Aristotle Hotel or Aristotle's Hotel. And I had a little conversation last night. My two voices started to come out, what I call Fat Wayne and Thin Wayne. Just down the road from me is Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Who's been there? Yeah, come on. There's a few more hands should go up. You were there last night. So Mad Dogs and Englishmen. And I go in. And Fat Wayne says, mate, you've had a hard day today. How about a pint of Guinness and a nice thick juicy steak with onion gravy, extra chips, trimmings and the whole bit? Thin Wayne says, listen, Porky. You could barely get those pair of jeans on this morning. The last thing you need is a big dinner, a whole bunch of Guinness and alcohol and a big thick steak. Fat Wayne says, oh, but you're on the road. You're only here for a couple of days. Why don't you relax and enjoy yourself? You and dessert. Listen, Chunky. Why don't you have the salad? Just try the salad for once. And we've all got these voices going on. But in terms of confidence, we know that kids will be standing on the blocks or running out onto the field thinking, can I do this? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can do this. And the little voice says, but you've never been at this level before. Yeah, but I can do this. How do they know they can do it? Confidence, if you like, you could also say confidence is knowing, is that evidence is what we put in that can as coaches. So we fill it full of things like strength training, endurance training, agility training, skills work, information about diet, sleep management, and all those things. And we're trying to fill that can, if you like, so that when they go to a major competition or when they go to a championship, they're standing there and going, I can, and a little voice says, it's going to be too tough. Yeah, but I can, I know I can because of what I've done in training. And that's what we do and that's what we're trying to do, and most of us do it reasonably well. But here's where you come into it. We believe, certainly, and the experience I've had with athletes all over the world is belief. Self-belief, the way they feel about themselves. Those qualities are largely in place by about age 10. And who's the most important person in your child's life up to age 10? Mum and Dad. Mum and Dad. As the twig is bent, parents, so shall it grow. I've been to world championships. I've been on tour with international and professional teams. And we're super confident that we're doing enough on that side to fill the bucket full of training experiences and gym work so that they should be able to stand up and say, I can, and yet we're still working with them the night before the competition, convincing them that they can do the job that we need them to do because there's still that little boy or little girl inside that's just lacking something, lacking the ability to love themselves for who they are, to accept themselves and to value themselves for who they are, and they got that from you. I made an enemy who's now a friend, on the South Island. It's safer for me to say that than single out the town, because everybody knows each other in this place. But we're doing a session like this somewhere in the South Island a few years ago. And a mum put her hand up and said, "Oh, I want to hear what you're saying. It's really interesting what you've got to say. But you don't understand my daughter. She's a perfectionist. Everything she does has got to be exactly right. And if she isn't perfect, she gets really negative and very hard on herself." And I said, "I'm going to tell you something, and you're not going to like it. But I want to save the relationship between your daughter, and I want to save your daughter. Do you want to hear it?" She said, "Yes." I've never heard Thomas the Tank Engine or Dora the Explorer or Sesame Street or Disney talk about perfectionism. They don't teach it at kindergarten. They don't teach it in netball. If your 6-year-old daughter is a perfectionist, the only person she's learnt that from is you. The person whose love, acceptance, and sense of value she craves more than her next breath. And if she believes that what she's doing is not good enough, the only person, deliberately or accidentally, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, who made her feel that what she's doing is not good enough is you. And we work a lot with abnormal psychology and teenagers on the Gold Coast, Helen and I. Guys, I promise you, one of the saddest things is to see a perfectionist child who believes that what they're doing is not good enough become a teenager who believes I am not good enough. And I am not good enough becomes anxiety, depression, and a whole range of mood disorders. And unfortunately, in the worst case scenario, can be an introduction to that horribly dark path towards dark depression and even suicide. The relationship that you have with your children and your capacity to teach love, self-acceptance, self-value, and self-worth goes far beyond their capacity to kick a football, score a goal in netball, or win a gold medal. It's that important. The great thing about that story was that I kept in contact with Mum, and we managed to work through some issues, and I think things are heading in the right direction. Your child is good enough, whether they win or they lose. One of the biggest mistakes I see all parents do is they equate the way that they express their love for their children through what they do and what they achieve. One of the stories that I love to tell guys is this one. Is Shane Gould was one of our most famous swimmers. 1972 Olympics, 3 golds, a silver and a bronze in swimming. At 16 years of age, she'd had enough. She decided to retire. And the way that Shane tells the story is quite frightening. It's a reality shock for all of us. She says, "I was introduced to the President of the United States, the Queen, the Prime Minister, and so many famous people as Shane Gould, the swimmer. That's what I was. Who I was, and my whole identity was Shane Gould, the swimmer. And I retired. I looked in the mirror and I went, my God, I'm Shane Gould, the nothing. And I was depressed for the next 20 years. Frightening. An athlete that had achieved so much that you would believe had achieved the pinnacle of Olympic sport. Depressed and battling a sense of self because we tied too much of who she was as a human being into what she does as an athlete, which is why I asked you that question. Have you looked your child in the eyes? Today would be a great time to start and made them feel with certainty before they close their eyes this evening that they are loved and valued and accepted for who they are, not for what they do. Little trick from Rudyard Kipling. Treat success and failure, treat those imposters the same. Child wins, fantastic, I love watching you play, I'm really proud of you. Child loses, fantastic, I love watching you play, I'm really proud of you. Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any difference in terms of the love and the respect and the care that we show our kids.